What's going on, fellow big heads, and welcome back to another video that's going to be all about Brockhampton. And in this video I want to focus a little bit more on like the ex-members of Brockhampton. So if you haven't seen the video all about Amir, I'm going to include it somewhere on the screen or in the description. But today I want to talk all about Albert Gordon, otherwise known as Natalie Green. So Albert Gordon, I couldn't find his exact birthday online, but he is currently 22 years old as of this year. His current hometown is South Windsor, Connecticut, and if you guys are putting two and two together, the other members of Brockhampton that are from South Windsor are John Nunes, Romeo Himnani, and Rodney Tenner. Rodney Tenner, if you don't know, was another ex-member of Brockhampton, and I will definitely make sure to make a video about him to give you guys a little bit more background as to who Albert Gordon is, like a little bit of his production style. He is a producer for a lot of Brockhampton's early work, so a lot of stuff off of All American Trash has a lot of his production credits in it, and he mainly had a hand in working with Romeo before Q3 came in to sort of contribute to Brockhampton's production. As far as what he did also provide guitar samples, so Albert Gordon himself played the guitar, and he did play guitar on some of Brockhampton's tracks. But aside from that, he did provide a lot of advice, a lot of actual production for a lot of Brockhampton's early work, and that also includes some of the members' solo work. In a quote that was provided with an interview, Albert Gordon goes on to explain that I went to high school with Rodney, John, and Romeo. Romeo and I were actually in the same math class and never talked to each other. Years later, I showed John some of my stuff. He liked it and introduced me to Romeo, who introduced me to Dom McLennan. I started working with them and they liked my beats, and after that, I ended up meeting the rest of the crew on the tour that they did with Michael Christmas. So as you guys can currently tell, if you have any sort of like timeline as to where Brockhampton has come from, they mainly got a lot of their fame back in 2017, but they originated back in 2015 with their debut project, All American Trash. To elaborate on his production a little bit more, he provided the main production for Fangs, Burn, and Salute by Matt Champion. He also provided a hand in Echo by Kevin Abstract, Palace and Poison by Brockhampton, I'm Sorry by Amir Vaughn. To go into a little bit more detail as to what I think his production style consists of, his sound tends to be very organ based, and not only that, but his spacey beats kind of make you feel like you're in a tunnel in a way, or almost like in space. I noticed he really likes to rely on like the organ and like the synthesizer and like piano backgrounds, and honestly the sound that he kind of brought to Brockhampton reminds me a lot of like classic, old school beats that are meant to complement more of like the rapper's voice, more of like the rapper's singing style than anything else. And I guess to get the best idea of what I'm talking about, I would kind of like refer to like J. Cole, Boz, or like early Mac Miller type beats. The intros are very like grandiose and like just kind of include a lot of like piano and like musical elements for like the rapper to sort of like warm up in the beginning, and then eventually kind of get into like a singing rap kind of style throughout the song. So at this point, you guys are probably asking yourself, why is Gordon considered an ex-member of Brockhampton? Well, if you guys didn't know this already, from some reports and interviews and like what we can put together through like some social media beef that happened, Albert Gordon allegedly slept with Matt Champion's girlfriend, and he was supposedly kicked out of the band because of this. Matt Champion's line on Heat is rumored to kind of be like a reference to this whole ordeal. And if you guys don't know exactly what line I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen for you. So as you can see, like Albert kind of like went behind Matt's back supposedly and kind of like got in the middle of like a very messy situation. So because of this whole ordeal, apparently that's why Albert Gordon had to step down for Brockhampton. And if there's anything that we've learned from Brockhampton already through like Amir's experience and through Albert's experience, is that they take their relationship with one another very seriously. At this point, everything that happened. And I kind of want to talk a little bit more about what Albert Gordon is up to right now. So after leaving Brockhampton, it seemed as though Albert Gordon had a hard time finding like a sense of direction in his music career, and honestly his personal life as well. After leaving Brockhampton, he was actually homeless and started living out of his car. But on the bright side of this is where he actually recorded his debut EP, Natalie Green Is My Lover. The resulting record, made at what he deemed his lowing point, is a melancholy trip through his mind. Adopting the name Natalie Green, his debut EP makes the most of like the worst. Natalie Green is my lover plays out kind of like a brain in turmoil, struggling to cope. His own voice changes constantly, like throughout the whole AP, shifting from one ear to the next, further shrouding itself in effects at times. And I think Green kind of did this on purpose to sort of like represent the chaos that was going on in his life at the time. If you guys are interested in checking out the EP, that will also be down in the bio. It's a pretty good EP. I'll have to maybe go in depth about it in another video, but for the most part, if you're into just like minor rap verses, but more so singing and a more like spacey kind of like sound, then I think you guys would enjoy the track overall. But as far as why he goes by Natalie Green now, I think he just kind of like wanted to change his name after leaving Brockhampton, kind of disassociating himself from that old persona that he had before. Above all, Albert Gordon should still be credited for his influences on Brockhampton's early sound. I'm sure he played a big role in kind of shaping the chemistry that Brockhampton has now, and not only that, but kind of like shaping the sound and the direction that they took with hip-hop. If there's anything I left out, make sure to leave it down in the comments and let me know, is there a favorite track by Albert Gordon that you like? Like I said before, he contributed a lot to Matt Champion's early work, so if you like those kinds of beats and if you like Matt rapping over those kinds of beats, then you know that's all Albert Gordon at that point. And let me know also down in the comments, is there someone that you want me to cover next? As far as I know, I'm going to try to cover Rodney Tenner next. So thank you guys so much for watching all these videos. Thanks again for just like helping me blow up this series. I've had a lot of fun learning about everyone in Brockhampton, past and present. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.